time is it?
Pasa pasa,
Time.
pasa pasa.
Time. Every gal, every gal, every gal, every gal. I go me a
Pasa pasa.
stop, girl, wine, drink and feel it. Drink and rave till the morning light, my girl. Center. Have a drop stand.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Relationship Pasa Pasa. Thank you very much for joining us. We're very happy to have you today. It's a special day for two reasons. One, it's our final episode of season 2.
Aww.
And yeah. And 2, I am not even gonna hitch. Glad Bag Bus in honor of our friend, co-host, and author Anne Henry. Today's episode is going to steal a little bit from her newest
venture
baby that's been manifested, and we're going to share with you later. But in honor of it, I've organized this episode as a 3-course meal experience, right?
Okay.
And so we go eat everything. Everything will be left in our stomach and out here talking with you guys, and we will have no leftovers, right? We're gonna really just delve in. So we're gonna start with appetizers, and we're gonna talk a little bit about books and movies that we've enjoyed recently. And they left some impression on us. So it could be something good, bad, in between, light, joyful, deep, serious. We're gonna just talk about kind of what we've been exposed to recently and share a little bit of that with you. Then we're going to move to the main course. So we're going to introduce you to Madame Kerry's new book, or newest book, because it's the first of what we hope will be many. And then we'll move to the dessert, which will be our usual takeaway. So we're going to leave you with a little sweetness to cap off the episode and the season of RPP. So delve in and join us. But before I dive in, I'm going to do our audio roll call. So, Mish.
You're
Soph.
Right here.
And hello, co-host of honor. Terry.
Hey.
Hopefully I don't embarrass you today. All righty.
It's too late.
Oh dear. I'm sorry. We're proud. What can we say?
I'm kidding.
So let's dive in, and I'm going to ask you to think about something you've read or watched recently, something that you've enjoyed or just really disliked, like it really left an impression. You found it hilarious, touching, annoying. It opened your eyes. Tell us what it was and kind of why it kind of was so impactful. So I guess I'm going to randomly go. I'm going to go with Sophie.
Well, the guest of honor today had me watching this movie on Netflix, Behind Her Eyes. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's a Netflix 8-series special. And let me just tell you, if you haven't seen it yet, I don't know what I want to tell you, if you should see it or don't see it. But that movie really, really left me having so many emotions. Like I feel like I literally went through every single emotions while watching that movie, to the point where I even had a lesson on it with my kids. I did an entire lesson on that movie, and the theme that I taught there was to learn how to mind your business. Stay in your lane. Like legit, that was the lesson. Stay in your lane and mind your business. Not everybody wants to be saved. Not everybody wants to be fixed. Some people just have to go through while they're going through it, and when they finish going through it, then they'll get through it. You know, it's just that simple.
Yeah.
But that movie truly left an impression on me. To this day, every time I think of the ending, I'm just like, sure.
Listen, so I did not expect you to say that. Can I just tell you how I'm a coward and I watch that series as well. So I don't watch anything that's even remotely scary. And this is not horror scary, it's like a psychological thriller scary.
Right.
And let me tell you something, I wouldn't watch it by myself. Ask Kerry. I'm afraid. I'm like, people gotta watch it with
That's
me.
funny.
But you know what?
That
You
was a good
really
one, though.
did. That is the crux of that show. Mine, the whole time I was like to the girl, really now? Really now? You're so invested?
I'm like, why are you so vested? Why
Yeah.
are you so? I don't understand.
So
But
bad.
even though I'm scared of it, I think that's a great suggestion and actually would recommend people watch it, even though I'm scared of it, because I actually watched it a second time and the perspective is so different because you know now. So now you're like watching and you're like, so I think it's almost worth 2 watches if you can, you know, like, yeah, that's a good one.
That's true. That's true.
Mish?
Like that one.
So you know I'm extra. So I kind of have 2 things. I am, child. It's okay. I'm working on myself.
Love it. We love it.
So I have 2 suggestions. One is a book that I am reading, and it's called The Memo. I've gotten a lot of it. I've read a lot of it, but I haven't finished. And I keep going back to parts that are interesting to me. Anyway, it's by a woman named Minda Harts. And it's about, let me see if I can read a piece of this, because I don't really want to tell you. Anyway, so it says she rejects the one-size-fits-all approach of business advice books and offers the critical guidance women of color need to get ahead. From cultivating a diverse network to navigating office politics to negotiating for the salary you deserve, she provides your actionable toolkit and pep talks for addressing inequities head on. Anyway, so it's really just her approach to how she got where she got, and gives you some insight into shaking the table, I guess, and how you can even be invited to the table. I think the part that got me hooked into it is that her like career purpose is very, very, very similar to mine. Her aim really is to like catalyze equity for women of color. And I think it's very similar for me, except I want to strike out women of color and put people in the Caribbean diaspora. So overall, that is my aim. And I've realized that I've spent a lot of time trying to figure out, as you guys know, my purpose. And I've talked about this before, and trying to figure out what my career purpose is. Like, how can I intertwine my purpose with my career? And I think it's very similar. And so I'm kind of like taking pieces out of it, reading here and there, and, you know, taking information as I go. But it's really good. It's really insightful, very informative. So I like it. Anyway, next thing is, and the reason I said I was being extra is because I just watched High on the Hog, and it brings 2 pieces together on Netflix, and it brings 2 pieces together because it's kind of like a documentary, but like a limited series documentary on Netflix, and it goes through the history of food as it ties to where we come from, Africa, and you know, how that plays out. And I think that's good to bring up because we did the Juneteenth episode, and they did a whole episode on like Juneteenth and like where that comes from. And there are lots of things. I mean, I live in Texas and I didn't even know we see cowboys all the time. I talk about this all the time. You're driving through the hood, literally in like near Houston, like on the outskirts of Houston, we driving through the hood, and then you buck up like a ranch with horses and cowboys, and then you keep on going and it's more hood. And you're like, what this is Houston. Yeah, this is Texas. So I mean, I'm not really familiar with all these things, but they talk about all these things in the documentary. Well, you know, the guy who does it, but he bases it all on food. Like it just centers around food. And I think for 2 reasons why I wanted to bring that up is, one, because I one of my purposes is to make sure that I'm more informed about Blacks in America and the history of Blacks in America. And two, because Kerry's book is also about food and how that ties in. And literally, it's like the same concept. I was watching it and I was like, it's Kerry's book.
I know. Give a friend our
Move it, we said, move it.
I'm done.
It's all about food. I wanted to lick my screen, and that's like Kerry's book. I was like, I'm sorry, Oxtail Ware. I wanted to lick the book. Anyway, that is it. That's all I have to say. As I said, extra. Keep moving, people.
That's not extra at all. I really like the book suggestion because it's really like, it sounds edifying. And it, one of the things you mentioned that certainly I always feel like I need is like learning how to advocate for self at work. It's really like, my brain is telling me all the things and I'm trying to figure out how best to say them, how to filter it, what's okay, what's not. And then sometimes when moments pass, I'm like, did I not represent for myself? Like I needed to have represented for myself. You know, like, so I think it sounds like a necessary book for people at all like stages of their career. And then I want to say I only watched one episode of High on the Hog. It's so funny how our stuff overlaps. I'm gonna see if my stuff overlaps with Kerry too when she talks. But I did watch one episode and I was like, snaps for them defining yam. They over-defined yam. They were yam hill upon yam hill.
Yep. They were like, this is not yam. This is sweet potato. This is yam.
Jamaicans would be like, yes, this is yam. I did not know okra originated from Africa. I love
I don't know that I knew that either, but
yeah.
The way they're able to do all those things, I was like, I kind of want to go cook some okra now. I'm like,
So good.
I'm looking forward to watching the rest of it for sure.
It's really good.
How many seasons were there?
It's just 4 episodes and they're like 45 minutes each. 4, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 4. And they're like 45 minutes each. So it's not. I watched it in one sitting. It was really good. As I said, after I was hungry, I was like, where can I get some of this food? I'm just checking.
Yeah, it sounds like I saw, like Shar, just watched the first episode and I was like, this looks like it need like a food tour. Like they need to create a tour of the places on this show. Because I saw the mac and cheese. Now I haven't even seen the episode yet, but I was like, that mac and cheese. I would travel for mac and cheese.
They did an episode about the mac and cheese, like where it came from and how they ended up having, and I didn't even know, like, they were like, yeah, Black people invented the mac and cheese because X, Y, and Z, and then they showed you how they did it, and they went back to the oven, the type of oven that they did, which is obviously not really an oven. It's just something that they make and put over the wood fire, and they show you how they make it. And spoiler alert, they make mac and cheese by mixing milk and the pasta with milk and water, not just water. And they were like, oh, it gives it. I've never done that. I was like, okay, milk and water it is.
Yes, girl.
I made mac and cheese with milk.
No, I don't make. I make a roux. I make a roux with the milk, but I don't boil my pasta in milk. I've never done that.
Boil it in milk.
Never did. Okay, I've never done that either.
They boil the pasta, not pouring milk in the pasta.
Right,
I do that. I make a roux, but no, they boil the pasta in milk.
That's new.
So they catch the cream, like all the cream that comes up when you boil milk.
I guess
be rich.
Very rich.
Yeah.
But anyway. So many good things about that. I was like, I'm telling you, they need a food tour for real. I know I need to try that too for real.
I'm looking forward to those episodes for sure.
Yeah, that food tour, I immediately thought, and the woman, again, I only saw the first one. The woman that he interviewed, I think they were in Benin, and she was like
the
doing
first episode. Oh yeah.
Right. I was like, okay, she knows her stuff. Like you can just tell she just knew her food in and out, up and down. I said, okay, I like her.
She definitely does.
Yeah, good.
And there are lots of people that he interviews over the course of the 4 episodes that really know what they're talking about. I mean, they're a historian. I was like, if my child come talking about he's gonna be a food historian, but then if he cooks like that, I'm gonna be like, all right. Okay. Now I get it. I get it.
I love how this information is getting more widespread and available, and then
I
hopefully
agree.
will motivate people to kind of go out, and because I know at least the woman in the first episode, she's an author, well known and established. We can go get resources. Like I like it. I love it.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's based on her book, right? That's what
It
He said he was inspired
Yes,
Mhm.
it is. It is.
of the
Yeah.
same name too, I think.
Yes,
Mhm.
same name. So
Miss Kerry, you want to go next or?
Sure. What have I been doing? So I have
Apart from
been
writing.
apart from
apart from
writing and doing all the
publishing whole kind of books, ma'am.
yes. So I've been reading. I tend to read nonfiction books. I love nonfiction because it just makes it more relatable. But my good friend bought this book for me, and I finally got to read it. It's called The Vanishing Half. I think I've talked about it a little bit on my social media things, but it was so good. It took me a while to get into it, I will say, but part of that is just being consumed by other things. But once I got into it, it was like I did not want to put the book down. It was like, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? It's such a telling book about these two twins who grow up, and one goes off to make a whole complete separate life, and the other stays. And it's just everything we live, right? As we get older, it's like, who would I become if I had made some other decisions? Like if I had decided to marry this person, if I had decided to live this other way, all these questions kind of came up for me, because the book is all about we lose parts of ourselves in different ways over time, whether it's a physical half like your sister, whether it's you leave a town behind because you graduated and now you're moving on to the next city and you're never coming back to this place. So it's so many levels to the book. I really, really enjoyed it. So
Nice.
that's what I've been up to and enjoying lately. I would certainly recommend it. I mean, again, I'm not a fiction person, but this was a book that I would actually love to see a movie made about, because I'm like, this is good.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't read that. I will just put it on the list and add it to my pile, because clearly I collect books and not read them. Because I hear good books and I run and buy them and then find the time, ma'am, take the time to read them. But
Same.
no, that sounds actually excellent. I saw it in the bookstore the last time I was in there and caught my interest. Maybe I'll revisit. So
Diane, no, I don't read them. That sounds like something that I would read.
you would
I
read
feel like you would like it, so.
Oh, sounds
Okay,
like something
see?
I would read it.
I feel
Sophie's
like you
coming
like
by.
It. It reads like a movie. It's
Sophie's
just
coming by in a minute to come pick it up. Give her,
There you go.
give her 3 minutes to jog over there. That's right. 3 minutes to jog.
I feel like you like it. It's a good read.
All right, maybe may I Sophie read it this
Yeah.
summer. Okay, so what did I bring?
Yeah.
So I brought a book as well. I'm extra like Misha because I wanted to mention two things. She extra, I'm like, so if she extra,
This is why we're friends, ma'am. This is why.
like, because I came with two things too.
Oh my goodness.
So
You're extra with an H. You're just
extra with an H.
extra.
I like this because it was an escape, not because it wasn't. It was impactful in that it gave me a breath. I like fantasy novels, so I am of the witches and warlocks and vampires. Like if I'm reading fiction, I'm reading fiction. Like I like when fiction is fictional. Witches, vampires, Harry Potters, and all the same. Well, I
can't see it.
Children of Blood and Bone. This is from Mommy Adeyemi. This is the first. I have the second one. Huh?
I've heard of this. I don't know
she's
where.
a West African author. It's very along the lines. It's like young adult, right? So it's very along the. If you're somebody who likes like light reads like that, it's very along the lines of the Harry Potters and the fantasy books of the world.
I like those.
And it's a 3-part. The third one isn't out yet, but the second one is. I have the second one. I just haven't read it, but it's fun. It's like young teens. It's a fantasy book that's set in clearly not a real place, but clearly Africa, so West Africa. It has a lot of the references to, you know, African and West African things. So it's cool to read something that's made up, but it's still aligns with kind of, you know, our back. But yeah, it's just a fun read. And it's not scary. I don't do anything scary. There's no duppy. Huh?
That book is thick. I remember seeing that book.
Yeah, but you know, the princes, I tell you, you know, it's not easy. You know, like it's spacious. Okay. Yeah, it's like it's not dense. It's not dense. It's fun. They're on an adventure. It's fun. And so yeah, so this I recommend. I'm gonna read the second one this summer. Huh?
They said that book big.
It does. Do you like Star Trek and that stuff?
I don't watch Star Trek, but I love Star Wars.
Okay.
And you guys know I'm into Mandalorian and all that.
Yes. Have you watched Lost in Space yet?
No.
Lost in Space is on Netflix. Normally I would not have watched it, but like I wouldn't even be remotely interested. I was trying to find a family movie for me and the kids to watch, and it was between Lost in Space and the next show. And it's a series, and I was like, we're watching Lost in Space, and they were like, no, we don't want to watch that. And then you know, because this is a dictatorship, this is not a democracy. I decided we were watching Lost in Space, and we watched one episode, and I was like, fine, now you could watch your episode. And they were like, no. I'm like, yep, now you're stuck. So I went and I watched Lost in Space by myself, and they couldn't watch it because they gave me a hard time about it. It's like so good, and I told you I would have never ever found it unless I was trying to find like
some kid friendly thing.
Yes, but it's like I think it would be right up your alley if you like stuff.
It might be. I do like that stuff, and this one has a nice storyline. It's kind of like the different tribes or groups have lost their magic, but they lost it from like oppression. And these young kids are like going to, you know, on an adventure to find back the magic. And of course, you know, it has a lot of like moral underpinnings of like, you know, the adventure and building character. So it's nice, a nice book. And then I'm not even gonna spend 2 seconds to talk about this one because everybody already know that I watched Bridgerton in like 24 hours.
How did we not talk? Did we not talk about Bridgerton before?
I have to mention it because I literally started watching it in the evening and watched the whole thing same way. Even though I started watching it one evening, I was like up till 2 a.m. Have to finish it.
Hilarious. I haven't seen this.
You said you watched half an episode. Did you watch half an episode, ma'am?
Me?
Yes.
No, I finished it.
No, Kerry.
I got into maybe 10 minutes. Child, I already knew. I was like, they got this black man up here about to slay the whole place. I'm like, I can't.
Slay the whole place.
The entire place. Child, this was the pandemic. I couldn't find nobody. I told y'all.
She said, y'all not about to set me up. Nope.
This is a setup for failure. What we doing? Nope. Now that we are safely transitioning out the pandemic, I will revisit Bridgerton because I can now take some phone call action. I cannot play myself like this. I'm
don't play yourself.
Oh my God.
Kerry, I have to tell her there's wisdom in that. There's wisdom in that. I have to tell you.
You gotta know yourself.
I've watched Bridgerton more than once, and some episodes
I want to watch it again,
more than once.
But I'm saving it.
You know, what? I will watch it even a third time and maybe a fourth. Yes.
There are two particular episodes that I can see myself doubling up on, like maybe doubling up on a few times.
By double, you mean 2 times 2? Yes.
Listen, I sincerely hope people have watched Bridgerton because it's literally just a show that I recommend you watch, and don't think too deep about it, okay? I don't want any feedback. I don't want to hear nothing about reality. Just watch it and enjoy.
And even though what's his name isn't coming back, Reggie, Even though Reggie isn't coming back, I am just like,
I'm still looking
Reggie's a
forward.
black guy.
yes.
Yeah.
What you mean he's
It
not
was
coming
kind of
back?
different, but you know who I thought about when I was watching it? First of all, I don't think
told you about this.
Whoa, Kerry. Pause, Kerry. What do you
Sofa.
mean?
You know what I'm going
But
to
you know
do
it's
for
based
you?
on some.
Wait. Wait. So if you know what I'm gonna do for you, I am going to create a voice note because I can't even create a newsletter because you're not going to read it. I'm going to create a voice note of pop culture items, and we're going to send it to you weekly so you can get updated. This was everywhere, man. What do you mean?
It was
He
everywhere.
like broke the internet when he told us he wasn't coming back, and everybody
People
was
were
like,
so mad. They're like, "How are we gonna cope?"
Yes.
How am I gonna cope?
And you know what? And
watch
because
it
it's Miss Shonda Rhimes, and we know it's about to be good anyway, we're kind of like torn because it's like,
Yep.
man, we don't want to watch it without him, but we want to see the next step.
yeah.
Wait, is it something that he did or she did?
He was never supposed. It was never supposed to be a recurring role. It's based on a book series, and so the book, each book is based on one of the kids, and so his time with his wife is done. They actually tried to get him to come back to do some other pieces, but he didn't want to wreck it more than what he said. One, I don't want to wreck it. It doesn't make sense for you guys to like do this. Two, he doesn't want to be boxed into this role. He wants to do other things. He's passionate about other things. He doesn't want to be.
He ain't gonna get no better.
He's like, come play a part.
Your shot. This is your shot. You
It's like, this is it.
That's it.
But I didn't believe him. I don't know.
I thought it was a April Fool joke, man, because it came out on
No.
April 2nd.
I'm not talking about the announcement, Mish. I'm talking about in the role.
You didn't believe him in the role?
But you know what happened?
I believe him in the role.
I totally believe him. I'll tell you what.
The role.
Yeah.
What?
If you are a Regency romance reader, he fits the bill to
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No,
Okay.
I was sold. I was sold.
Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
He's a little right. He's like a little petite type of person. I'm like,
And he's not fitting your bill. It sounds like.
Right.
No,
I was like,
not.
okay, man, he is not your cup of tea. You're looking for like chamomile, and he's like mint.
No, he's not so hot. He like mint. You know, such a Sam Slim. He's like chamomile.
He's like chamomile, and she looking for spice.
And she's looking for some Earl Grey.
I'm looking for some Earl Grey with a beard.
She looking for coffee. She looking for coffee.
Okay.
Strong, very
Black,
strong.
no milk.
No milk.
With a beard. Just
Just make sure the coffee have a beard.
throw a beard on it. Just throw it on there.
I'm done.
Let me just tell you,
My cup of tea.
there is a scene where he is in the tea, the tea, what is that called? Like a tea store. I don't know what it's called. They serve tea, they serve like crumpets and teas. And
Okay.
And he's talking to her, and he takes the spoon out of the teacup and he licks it. And they have that junk on like Instagram in like slow-mo, sped up with music, without music, remix, turned backward. And I found all of them. I was like,
Are you serious?
Let's see how we about to scoop the sugar.
Mish is on every version. I want to see all the versions. All of them.
I'm gonna have to send y'all that clip. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. I'm telling you that.
He did a very good job with this role, though. I thought he did an excellent job with his role. I believed it. I believed every minute of it, from the fake hate to the attraction to the love, like the whole thing. I was just like, wow.
And it's
The
supposed to be
attraction
predictable
was
in that
definitely
way.
real.
It's supposed to be predictable in that way.
Yeah, I think so. We spent
my
way too long
goodness.
on this show. You're fired.
Guys,
Who told you to bring this junk up? It's
clearly the
horrible.
appetizer was so good. Can you imagine what the entree is about to be?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, ladies.
You know when you go to a place and you ask for appetizer, think it's gonna be a small thing. You order your appetizer, you order your meat, and then you get the appetizer and can't even eat your food. Listen, Char, I'm gonna need you to
Well,
get it
I'm gonna need y'all
together.
to make room because
Yeah,
so thank you, ladies, for sharing. I think those are all excellent choices, and I think our listening friends, you might want to engage with these if you have not. As you can see, they surely did our bodies good.
Yeah.
Very
true.
With a spoon and a mustache and a beard.
And a beard. Okay.
So,
Just need a-
ladies, drum roll, please.
I can't manage on a note at all.
We have certainly
Wow.
saved the best summer recommendation for last.
I agree.
This is a part of the meal we encourage you not to miss. No shame in our game. We are proud of the newest author in our midst.
Yep.
Please allow me to introduce Madame Authoress Kerry Henry.
Authoress.
Loud applause right here. I'm sure I can do that. Loud applause. Woo!
I'm gonna add some sound effects.
We should have had the sound effect, people clapping.
People clap for them. Yeah.
If you're Jamaican, you get the vuvuzelas.
That's right.
Don't make I laugh. No, sir.
So, guys, our talented friend, she has authored and is sharing a comforting slice of deliciousness with her new book. It's called 7 Yummy Lessons About Living a Full Life.
Yeah.
Today we are excited, as you can see, is an understatement. Our glad bag truly is boss. And our joy for Kerry runneth over. So before we get into it, I just want to tell you that the book is available in print and ebook. And as of June 20th, 2021, we will include the link to purchase with the podcast, of course, in the description. But also you can head on over to Kerry's Instagram. It's at iCandi, IKNDI, or you can go to ours and check the link in the bio and purchase, please. You will not regret it. But that said, no spoilers today. Hopefully something in the future. But we do want to talk to Kerry a little bit about the process and share a little bit of the yumminess from the book. So, a little spotlight on you for a while. So, Kerry, can you talk to us a little bit about your purpose or inspiration in writing this book? Oh, okay, guys, if you are watching, wine has entered the conversation.
Listen, I am just sitting back and I am listening, like an audience member. So
we are all. This is the first time we've really engaged.
That's right.
So we're happy to. We're all wine glass there.
Listen, you want me to go grab you one? Because I got you.
I do have a Rice Krispie here. I do. Maybe that's maybe.
No, ma'am. That does not suffice. Anyway, I will listen and sip while you tell the world about, because I'm going to start salivating already just thinking about all the yumminess. So I'm prepared. Keep going.
I can't deal. Thank you, ladies. Y'all are so kind. This is a lot of fun. I appreciate you all just being who you are generally outside of this podcast, just really supportive friends. My purpose in writing the book? It's a short book. And it's a book I feel like I have written in pieces over the last probably 10 years, honestly. I remember somewhere in my 20s, I have a friend, her name is Amira. Some of you may know her, I don't know, maybe Shar. She used to be on Douglas. But she said to me, Kerry, you need to put a notebook next to your bed. She was the first person that ever told me that. and I've always kept a journal. I, write on and off. But she was very intentional. We had a conversation so long ago, and she said, keep a notebook wherever you feel comfortable writing. If you dream about something and you wake up, write it down. If you hang out in your bathroom and you write, keep a notebook in your bathroom. And so little pieces like that, and she probably doesn't even remember this conversation, but it's pieces of info and insights like that that have really just encouraged me in my writing. And then a couple years ago, I started more intentionally writing more often and sharing that with my little circle of friends online. So all of those things, I think, built up this body of work to kind of be where it is. And I think generally I'm of the mind that when I get old and gray, with one strand of hair and one tooth, I want to be able, for real. Yeah,
don't call that down on yourself, miss.
Girl, we gonna get your dentures. It'll be fine.
That's right.
You will have all the teeth.
I got you, all the teeth, ma'am. We can't promise you the hair.
And with
right?
Sophie,
We can't promise.
We will figure it out.
That is right. That is right. Just keep us around. We got you. We got you. Don't call that down on yourself. That would be evil. No, sir. Oh, you're gonna eat the dumpling. No. Oh, you're gonna eat the mommy. No, sir.
That don't even steam bummy is that it's soft, so it just mush up in our bone. So I thought about this. I've been thinking about these things. And I have certain foods. I told y'all I'm saving eggplant for when I have no teeth, so that I can really appreciate the softness for what it is.
Eggplant?
Eggplant is soft.
I'm not even talking about that. Keep going.
I just feel like I hope everybody's brain is in the right space. But anyway, carry on.
But I say that to say, when I think about my life and I think about when I get older, I want to be able to say, you tried the thing. You tried the things that you were afraid to try. Because when I see older people who I admire, they've done things you're like, and it may not be things that they're like celebrities for. It could be small victories in their own life. But I feel like they lived the life they wanted to live. They did the things that scared them. They did the things that other people were afraid to do, and they made it happen, type of thing. And I'm like, I want to be that. Like, that's who I want to be when I'm older. And so this book is part of that. Yeah, so that's, and I also want to share just my love of food. My mom is a
dying cook.
She's right, precisely.
You were brought up on the food, and so it's transcended.
Yeah, it's hard not to love food with a mom whose love is food, right? She's nurtured me and shown me love through food and how passionate she is about food. So I think all of that comes together in this space.
That's very beautiful, ma'am. And just to plug, Kerry does have a blog, and I hope I get the name right. It's Girl, Let Me Tell You. Link in bio. She does share a lot of really insightful pieces and really light pieces, fun stuff. So check that out too. All right. So I didn't want to kill y'all with Beyonce, but I must say, when you were talking, I know, guys, I am the Beyonce person, but when she was talking, I thought about my song. You know the song that I love about I Am Here, I Lived, I've done everything.
Because of you, my children even know the words to that song. Because of you.
It's really, if it's one Beyonce song, I'm gonna leave with y'all.
That song will empower you to go out and jump off of a building thinking you can fly. No, seriously.
That's correct.
Seriously, you'd be like, I got this. I got this.
Yeah,
I'm gonna leave my mark in this world, and it's this flying, and you just
okay, wait.
Yeah.
Not the flying, but okay.
Not the flying.
Not the flying. So as you talked about the 10 years and the your experience with the book, I actually want to kind of jump around and ask you, what was your favorite part of writing the book? But then I also want to know what's your favorite part of living the book.
That's good.
That's a good question.
Oprah here.
You took the word out of my mouth. I was like, okay, come through, Oprah. All right, okay, all right.
Oh my
I
god.
see you.
We're sober, guys. We're sober. Carry on.
Well, maybe you.
Oh,
Speak
you
for
said
ourselves.
speak for yourself. Okay.
Maybe.
That is hilarious. So I'll say that writing the book, because it was kind of written in pieces, and then I went back and I fleshed some things out. My favorite part of writing it is when you write something like 10 years ago. Like some of these stories are like literally 10-year-old stories. And when you go back and with fresh eyes, I kind of had the urge to like fix it. Like I'm like, I'm not that person anymore. Like I wouldn't see it like this anymore. Or man, I did that. That was kind of not, immature or whatever judgmental thing, right? And I think in trying to practice being truthful to who I am, I had to not fix anything. Like I went back and I rounded out certain stories because you kind of, right, you have to, it's an arc and you can't leave people in the middle of something. So I had to go back and round out those stories. But it forced me to not try to fix the truth, right? And I think that's an interesting exercise. Because I think this is true for anybody, when you go back and you look at things, even like my old journals and stuff, I'm like, dang, this is me. This used to be me. Like, you don't want to bear that to the world. You don't want people to know this is how you were thinking or have thought, or these are the decisions you made, or right, like all those things. But it's like that's just what it is.
Right.
That's just what it is. So I think that's probably part of my favorite parts of writing the book, is that practice of, okay, you're not fixing the truth. It just is.
Tell it. Right.
Is. So favorite experiences in the book. I have a lot of favorites. It's a short book. These are all like all my favorites. All my favorite experiences. And so one of my favorite travel experiences in the book is a conversation with someone I met while I was in Zanzibar, and it's one of my favorite places. And it was one of those very, like, nobody could have told you to meet this person. You ever meet somebody, you're like, oh man, they are super interesting. And the way you meet them is like, wow, like so random. Those are some of my favorite experiences in the book.
The unexpected ones.
Yeah. Just like what happens when you go out and just live, the things that come to you is just blissful, and it's scary, and it's all the things at the same time.
Yeah.
So
I hear that, ma'am. So given that, is there a particular audience you have in mind when you wrote the book, or who do you think it might appeal to, or what kind of things can people like? What's the intended mood of the book? What people might be able to get from it?
This is a book for anyone looking for a yummy adventure. That's how I would describe it. I think that each chapter is its own little lesson, right? And my hope is that it triggers you, the reader, right, to think about your own experiences and makes you curious about new experiences. And that's going to look different, right, for everybody. Not everyone is interested in travel, but it may be that you're trying a new meetup group. Like some of the things I talk about is really creating experiences that are new, local, or however you feel comfortable, right? So I think the mood of the book is really to foster this idea that life is an adventure. And most of those adventures involve good food. So if you can tap into those adventures and have some good food along the way, then I'm like, you're winning. So So I think that's the mood of the book. Um, who is it for? People who are curious, really. If you're curious and you love a good adventure, this is the book. Like it's the book.
If you
It's the teaser to your next thing, whatever that thing means for you.
I feel like a book can be for everyone, and it depends on where you are in your life and your experience. It will mean something different to you, and you can always revisit and see where it lands next time around, right?
Yeah.
So, are you nervous or any nerves or any anxiety about the release of
Am I nervous? I'm absolutely nervous. First of all, let me just explain something to y'all. When I saw, so the pre-sale, not pre-sale, but the printed copy was one of the first printed copies of the book.
Book, real book.
And when it came, I was like, now I knew in my mind it was, it's a small book. I intended it to be a small book. I'm like, oh, what kind of like a book this? Is this a book or a book? Real life. Real life.
My girl, it's amuse bouche. It's the perfect bite.
That is correct.
That is called created for Sophia. Thank you, Kerry.
No,
Thank
you're
you.
right.
For
It's written
anyone,
just
for
Sophie.
anyone.
For
anyone.
Sophie will love this book, okay?
Yep, I agree.
It's nice and sweet, short to the point.
Listen, when your friends know you so well.
Just for you, Soph.
Oh gosh. For those, I'm thinking about those things, and I'm like, oh man. But then I was like, there's nothing that I think part of creating things and sharing them with the world is that it's a practice in letting go. And when you share something with the world, that's exactly what it is. You put it out there, and it's gonna land however it lands. Some people are gonna like it. Some people are gonna love it. Some people are like, what the heck is this girl? What you talking about?
Yeah.
And it's good either way. In all those scenarios, it's all good.
All those scenarios, you have written this book, you have shared this experience that you have lived. So I feel like it is all good.
Yes. It's all good. And I think ultimately it's intended to be, again, I think a teaser for an adventure. So if you're looking at this book like, I could do that. I hope that's my hope for it. That it inspires you to do whatever the thing is that you have thought about doing and are like, no, I don't know if I could do it. Like, yeah. And yeah, be okay with it being imperfect. And so that's my hope.
It also gives you practical tools too, not even just like, it allows you to dream and obviously think about this food and not be able to eat it, but it also gives you I'm just telling you, that's all I could think about. But the practical tools of it, I found to be really inspiring. That's the part that, because people can tell you about their adventures and you're like, wow, that was amazing, and you can probably even envision yourself doing it, but not really beyond that. But this gives you this kind of lays it out and says, this is how you should look at certain things, etc. So it takes it a step further. And even though, we keep saying it's little, I think, as Shar says, it's enough. It's like you don't want to like overpower your palate. You don't want it to be too much. So I think it's great.
Right? You don't want to force it or make anything more than it needs to be. So if that's the end of that, then that's the cap on that. And then absolutely. Well, I actually want to widen the conversation. And I'm not saying that this is by any means Kerry's only creative outlet, but writing certainly is an important creative outlet. And I'm a turn to my friends and co-hosts, Sophie and Misha, and I just wanna know, how do you ladies express your own creativity? Either when you're younger or now, because I know people go say, We have the time for that. How have you experienced? How have you expressed your own creativity? And please do share. I'm gonna go with Mish first because
oh God,
first. Yeah,
that is a hard question because I don't think I am a creative person, and then I do things and people are like, but I mean I do. I mean, in our team groups, my manager always says, Mish, you do the invites and you do like the create this. And I'm like, I don't want to, but then I always end up doing it. Anyway, I don't think I'm a creative person. My child is the creative one out of all of us. She like make things. Like the other day, she took a toilet roll and cut it up and made it into like a cute skirt for her doll. And I was like, that was never me. Never me. But she's really into art and stuff. So we'll sit down and we'll like draw stuff and color stuff. I know when the pandemic started, I started sending you guys a lot of my food art.
Actually really good.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of my food art. So we still do things like that, but I really leave the creativity up to the creative people. My brain, I don't know. I'm not a good writer. I'm not a good reader. I'm not a good
Can I
drawer.
tell you one
I'm
of
not a
your
good-
creative? Can I tell you one of your creative spots?
Let's hear
Okay. I think you're a very meticulous person. You and I both talk about our respective OCDs. And I
Right.
think you do a really good job of creating experiences.
Mm-hmm.
I think you do a really good job of, like
I don't
whether
even know.
it's we're traveling or we're thinking about the podcast or we're thinking about whatever it is.
You do know
I
that's a
think you have
control
a
issue,
passion
right?
about
That I'm working
creating-
through.
Huh?
So you do know that's a control issue that I'm working through.
Really? Well, just so you know, every
I'm
time you
just
create
saying.
an experience,
Okay.
people are
I'm gonna-
living it,
I'm
and
gonna-
so it leaves memories and stuff. So.
That is awesome. And I appreciate that because I literally think of it as a negative, and I do try to like pump the brakes on it because that is a control thing. That is like, I want to know what is happening at all times. And I want, even if it's somebody else that experiences it, I want them to have a great experience just to have control over it, not because it's because of my type A personality. So I have
But
to
no, but also the content of the things. You have to think about who the people are and what they will like or
That's true.
appreciate. So
Mm-hmm.
But okay.
I'm
That's
not
a-
gonna force this one down your throat, but
I agree with
I
you.
receive it, ma'am. I receive it.
No,
And I will
no,
I will put it on my resume. Thank you.
All right
Okay.
now.
no, me, Sharifa is absolutely right. I remember the last time we were talking about the planning, and Hill was like, "How you not offering any suggestion?" I was like, "No, Mish got this. Like, I have nothing to say. I know whatever Misha is coming with, it's gonna be good."
you would have thought about everything, and yeah.
I'm like,
A
she
personality.
she thinks it's
True.
true. She already thought all, there's nothing for me to say.
Listen, play to
Why are
your
you
strength.
changing
There is
her?
nothing
Like,
wrong with none of us. We
There
just
you go.
It's
I'm
good
just
to
gonna
know
say
your
that
friends,
Oh,
It's
gosh.
good to know
That's-
your friends. So
There you
I
go.
just waited to just show up. I know I'm gonna have a good time.
I
Yes.
tried the show up thing, by the way, before, and I hate it. I
See,
hate
don't do it to
it.
yourself, ma'am. Don't do it.
But you
What do you
the
think?
experience. Huh?
I would never do that with any random people.
Right.
No, but as long as I know
True.
you're there, I can show up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
That's
be
true.
fine. I'm gonna be fine. You're there.
That is true. That requires a level of trust.
Yes, ma'am.
That's true. That's true. That is very
Exactly.
true.
So
Now,
Sophie,
in terms of creativity, I don't know what I'm creative. I don't know. I feel like I dabble a little bit in everything, but everybody knows Sophia as the braider. Like, that is actually my passion. I really love hair, but I think it's a good and a bad thing. I went to the store today, and this lady came with some braids, and I really pray to God she didn't think I was crazy.
Sophie walked up to her and undid her braids. Said, "Don't worry, I got you, boo."
I got you, ma'am.
That is something Soph would do. If you tell me that's what you did,
if you've been a friend with Soph,
Oh,
you have experience. What's in your hair, ma'am? And what did you do to your hair? Let me fix it.
Let me fix that. Because that ain't it.
I was just praying, like, Lord, I hope she doesn't slap me, because I kept falling behind her, and I kept saying to myself, I hope she didn't pay for this. And everywhere she walked, I kept following her in the store, and I'm like, well, did she pay for this? And why? And I'm sure she saw, but I couldn't stop. Like, I genuinely couldn't stop. And everything in my body was saying, walk away, Sophia, walk away. But I had to follow her until I got a good feel of just satisfaction of, until she eventually left the store. But I wanted to say to her.
Oh, she walked her around the store till she left, guys.
Yeah. She actually walked out.
I don't know what is better, her running the lady out or her just telling the lady to let me just redo it. Lady, just let me
Sophie
redo
needs
it.
some business cards and she just slip it.
Listen, like,
like the fixer, like a black card, you don't have nothing on the other side and you flip it.
Yo, it would be funny. It would be funny if Soph walked up to the lady with the card and said, I'm sure you're a nice person.
No, honestly, if she had stayed in that store for 5 more minutes, I would have approached her. I really would have. Because I was so drunk, like I couldn't help myself. I got to the cashier. The cashier had some long knotless braids. And the braids themselves was long, but the installation was so terrible. And, at this point, she's my cashier, so I can talk to her. So I said, where did you get your hair done? And she said, I went to the shop in East Orange. And I was like, you shouldn't go back. Oh.
And a happy day to you too.
I'm gonna double charge you for this item right here.
And she was like, what? And I was like, I'm sorry, I hope the person wasn't your friend or anything, but how much, if you don't mind me asking, how much did you pay? And then she said $225. I said, girl, you making money at this store. I was out of place. I'm being honest, I was out of order. So but I couldn't help myself because it was just so bad. I'm like, $225. 1, I'm wasting my time. 2, $225 for this. But yeah, I mean, hair is, in terms of real passion, I would say hair is my passion. But I really feel like I dabble a lot with just a little bit of everything. Like, I love decorating my house. I love
making up recipes,
cooking, and putting different food together. Like, I love, like, I don't know. I can't pick one thing to say I showcase my my creativity with. Lately though, I can tell you that I've been doing a lot more with food. So that I'm having a ball with, like, just living my best life. I'm sure you guys can see it in my face right now because I'm showing it, but
girl,
man, we're gonna open up a restaurant with a hair shop in the back. We got you. I've already planned it out in my head.
How about Nisha there making waves? Kerry, do you want to share?
He came home today and gave me a hug, and said to me, turn around.
Oh,
so
my.
I turned around, and he was like, let me see your arm. So I'm like, just go out and say it. Just say it. You don't have to inspect. It's obvious. Just go ahead and say it. So I was telling him that I went to the cleaners yesterday, and as I'm walking in the cleaners, this guy was walking out, and he was like, "Dang, Ma, you packing?" I said, "Yeah, I know."
Girl, you are highly blessed. Your body got toned.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
Child, please.
Yes, that's what I'm packing. The one I need to lose, not keep.
Child, you don't know fat yet till it box you. Wait till it box you. More fat.
More fat.
Please.
No fat.
Not fun.
I'm done.
Gonna be so aggressive.
Why? Sheesh.
Kerry, any other creative outlets you would like to share?
Not really. I mean, listen, I don't know that I consider myself creative until I really started taking writing more seriously. But I don't know. I can't think of anything else that I'm creative about. I think wherever the opportunity presents itself, like if it's spring outside, I want my yard to look nice. So I'm planting flowers and all the other things. But when the flowers die down, I've moved on to the next thing. So I feel like it depends, right? To Soul's point, sometimes it depends on what's happening in your life at that time and where there are opportunities for you to create. It just shows up in those spaces.
Speaking of planting and flowers, Sharifa,
right?
We want to hear yours. And it better have everything to do with your gardening. Yes.
You know, I also don't think of myself as creative. If I had to, I'm not creative. I think what it is, the most creative thing about me is my brain. And I'll tell you why. I'm always thinking. I have a very vivid imagination. And my brain kind of comes up with all kinds of nonsense. So like I read, I hear things, like I think of the craziest things. And I actually saw my, which was that, fourth or fifth form school book, whichever one. But you know, we had like a school, we didn't have it every year because yearbooks weren't really a thing in Jamaica, but we had like a couple. And I think my fourth or fifth form one, it said that they were projecting who I would be a comedian. And it said her favorite phrase, like other people had actual phrases and like quotes. It said Shulamuno, because I used to walk around saying foolishness all the time. And that is exactly who I am. I think I am most creative with my expression. Like I'm like the most like sane and organized like worker and person. And then there's just another part of me that's just like, okay, like completely unhinged and just being exactly what I want to be. Cool, kind of corny, kind of what I think that's the most like completely unhinged part of me. Unplanned. Yeah. We don't know. Like I'm the friend that I'm on water, I'm at karaoke acting a fool, or I'm dancing, or I walk through the supermarket and dance. This is who I am. And so I think I am just my
we love
brain.
you for all of it.
And we love it for all of it.
We love you for your dual personality.
That is exactly me. So if you're embarrassed by people who like dance in the supermarket because the music is banging, then don't walk with me. Because if the music is banging, I will be singing along.
That is correct.
Yeah.
That's too
But yeah, otherwise I don't make things. No. I knit and then I knit for 2 minutes and I'm like, yeah, this is too much knitting. You know, like I'm in a cooking phase for a while and then I'm like, okay, time to order out now. I've cooked too much. So no, I don't really have like those kinds of like, you know, consistent passions or whatever. But all right, we're gonna wrap up now. I decided, you know, I took a little bit of leeway because it was our last episode. I figured we could go a little bit longer. But before I, you know, move on to our dessert or our takeaways, actually, just want to wrap up this segment saying congratulations to you, Miss Kerry, and you know, just reiterate how proud we are of you. Cheers to all you've achieved and you will continue to achieve. I know we all have pre-ordered, and I'm now instructing everyone in the hearing of my voice to do the same. So
absolutely.
Bye.
Exactly. Go purchase.
Buy for your friends, buy for everyone. I promise you it's
buy one for your car, one for your house.
Oh, I love that you had the audio version too. I was like, why didn't I realize that before I bought the paper version?
No, the ebook.
The ebook.
Oh no, child. Who?
And when you do that, Kerry, you should read it. It would be nice to hear that in your voice.
I would
love.
We
work up the audio version. I'm just putting in.
Maybe one day.
One day.
Maybe one day. Maybe one day.
So I'm just gonna take a little bit of extra time, you know, since this is our last episode, and wrap up with some yummy dessert. So for our takeaway today, I'm gonna actually ask you ladies to share what RPP episode has been your favorite? And tell us why. So I'm gonna start with Kerry because you're the only one I didn't pick on first.
Let's see. So favorite episode. This was a long season.
It was. It's been
And I
going
did not
since
realize just how long,
September.
but yes, it was.
September. It's been going since September.
Yeah. So it's a lot to choose from. I think it's hard because there's so many episodes. I really like the one we did about marriage. It was a 2-part series where we had the guys on, and it was such a rich conversation. I feel like all of these conversations are just really rich conversations. That one in particular, though, I really appreciated because it was in collaboration with guys who we don't generally have on. So it was just a nice, refreshing perspective.
Yeah.
And it was fun. It was a fun episode. It is, serious. We talk about good stuff, but also there was fun being had. I think that's probably my favorite episode. Although I love the mentoring episode too. That was a good one.
Yeah, that's on my top 2.
It's hard, but okay, I'll stick with those 2.
Well, we love all of them, but still.
Yes, I'm biased.
I'm sitting here going, I don't think I can pick one.
I
don't
know
what to pick. But I will say, if I really, really have to, and the only reason I'm going to choose this one is the one I've gotten the most feedback on about myself, and it's the polyamory one.
That's funny.
Back
the
on
one
yourself.
Monogamish.
Oh, monogamish.
But you're not sharing the feedback.
What? Yeah, I'm curious to know what kind of feedback.
Some I'll have to share off the air, but
you didn't even participate much. I mean, you did, but it wasn't like overtly like participation. It wasn't like you were like, this is what I have to share and this X, Y, and Z. So I'm curious to know.
No, people just, for one, they were very shocked that I participated in the conversation.
Okay.
I'm like, really, it's a conversation. I'm not saying I'm living the life, but we all need to educate ourselves, and this is exactly what I did.
Yep.
But I have to say it's the one that brought the most light. It's one I knew absolutely nothing about, like 0. So if I have to pick one that I learned the most from, that it would have to be that one that I learned the most from, that really opened up my eyes to just outside my box. Because I mean, I'm gonna be honest, and by now I'm sure the world must have realized it. I kind of grew up in a box. My exposure to real life was very limited. Especially when my dad left Jamaica, my mom really kept us in a box. We went to school, church, and home, and my cousin's yard next door. That was the extent of my life. So when I say things, people are like, what you mean you don't know? What? And they look at me like I'm crazy, but I was just never exposed to a lot of things. And when I became an adult, I never had the interest to educate myself, because I'm just like, I already made a life and I like where I'm at, so I don't really care to know. So if I had to pick one, I guess that would be the one I would say truly shed some light that there's a whole world going on out there.
Yeah, a whole world. Like, it's
going on. And people are living, and I'm in my box.
It's true.
Yep. And I think, especially coming from a Caribbean thing. You said what?
Yeah, I did appreciate it. I appreciate the knowledge. I appreciate just the just being there.
Yeah.
But I have to let people know, participating in a conversation doesn't mean you're living the life. Like you can't judge a person because they're saying something that you never expected them to say. Like, we have to get out of that box. We have to get out of that mindset. This is 2021.
Yeah, and I think some of that is just right. I think if we are being good to each other, then that requires that we be able to listen to one another on a very basic level. Like, there's no judgment. There's just listening to understand versus listening to respond or change their mind, right? Like just listening. I think that's
listen don't even mean you agree, right? Listen don't mean you support.
right.
But I feel like that's one of the issues that we have. We're not respectful of everyone,
Yeah.
who they are. You know, like I don't have to like the life that you're living, but it's your life.
Yeah.
I may not like it, I may not support it, but at the end of the day, it's your life.
Right.
So as long as you are, like my new thing now is between you and the God that you serve. So if you and your God is okay with your life, I mean, who am I to sit here in my stressing out myself, judging you when you're living your life? I don't know.
I agree.
Yeah, I think it's I think it's presumptuous of people when they do that, because none of us, like Sophie, none of us, we're not God and we're not in charge of people. We're on our journey and they're on their journey, and just the way we think highly and well of ourselves and our choices, people are out there living their best lives, right? And the same respect that we deserve, everyone else is due, right? And what they say, the rain don't just fall upon me, Armisha, it fall upon everybody, right? Everyone is, blessings are available for everyone. Bad things happen to everyone. And I think having conversations indicate a level of growth. That's for me. If you can have a conversation and listen to someone, it really signifies growth and openness. I always wondering about people, if you can't even listen to them, how are you trying to talk to them? Right? And this is just from the perspective of, I'm assuming it's people who would prefer, that people live a certain way. So how are you going to talk to somebody if you can't even, how are you going to have a conversation with someone if you cannot even sit and listen to them? If their speaking irritates you, then you have nothing to say to them. So, okay, keep on moving. But yeah, so I agree with you on that point. And of course, I'm happy to take it to the next level. Yeah, I think it's presumptuous. And so call me on that. Write me a note.
Write me a note.
Write me a review on Google. So, Miss Misha Leisha.
I just wanted to double down on that and remind people that this is a podcast with 4 distinct human beings that are living on 4 distinct paths that happen to connect with our friendship. So the topics that we bring are not topics that one person is sitting down and picking based on their life experiences. So just because that may not, for example, just let's throw this example in, just because that may not be a topic that Soph would have picked or maybe even wanted to have a conversation about, this is not a dictatorship. So it is not.
That's only at Misha's house.
That is correct. Once you step in this door, you agree to the terms of this dictatorship. Outside of that, this podcast is a way for us to interact in ways that we wouldn't normally, or just to push ourselves beyond our normal. If you stick to, as I was explaining to my child today, if you do not push yourself, force yourself to be pushed, you will never grow. You'll just stay in the box. Who wants to stay in the box forever? That sounds terrible. Anyway, that rant is over. Moving on. So, just saying. I started out this episode by telling you how extra I am. So I'm going to continue with my extraness by offering up 3 episodes that are my favorite. 3. Because I am extra.
3.
Nope. 3. Yes. 4 different reasons. So the first one is our Christmas Things episode, and that's because I enjoy reminiscing about Jamaica. I enjoy talking about Jamaica. I enjoy bringing things up that remind me of my childhood, because as I am now finding out, that is the safest place I've ever been, is when I was a child. And so it always brings me back to that place, and I am in heaven. 1. 2 is when we have the Q&As with each other, because we end up with conversations like this where I seem drunk, but I am not, where I'm just laughing for no apparent reason. And just enjoying the company of my wonderful friends, because they're amazing. And that's what always happens when we get together, is just have conversations about things that sometimes you guys don't even see, but sometimes you do when we have these Q&A that we throw in every season. So that's 2. My favorite guest probably is Dr. K, because she like reinforced something. Dr. K in our episode about marriage, and Kerry mentioned the marriage episode, but I mean, I'm not married, but it reinforced some things for me, and it forced me to look at some things for myself outside of that. And so it just gave me a new perspective on like relationships in general, just relationships with people, relationships with myself, being in a marriage, being outside of like being divorced. It just did a lot of things for me, that episode. So 3 episodes, that was quick. Moving on.
Those are good ones.
Oh, one thing I must say.
I like those.
Some excellent ones.
We can't hear you.
Oh,
okay, can hear you now.
Oh,
yes.
You picked some excellent ones. You all did. Definitely noteworthy. And I think one of the things I've learned as we like do the podcast, it's like a different side of each of us that I'm getting to know. And it's so funny because I did not know this about Misha, but we are very kindred in terms of, I don't know how we approach things. I don't know. Okay, so I came with some examples.
I have told you already that you are my spirit animal, because our type A person is just our personality.
It's a personality. Because I came with groups of things. I have grouped them. I didn't pick an episode. I really did. And my favorite type.
Extra with an H. So I'm just extra. She is extra with an H. We got
come with categories of episodes that I like. And so
we're listening. Let's go.
So the first category is so funny. Misha said it. I like when we are Q&A and freeballing. So it's like the Christmas things. It's like the Q&A. It's any of the episodes where we're just chatting. It's the same vibe as this episode. Those are like my favorite ones. So those are my all-time favorite episodes. And then the other is just 2 categories. And then the other category is not a favorite, but it's the most surprising delight. How about that? Is Misha is a proponent of guests. I don't have the time nor energy to find none, or engage with anything. I did end up helping, but this is Misha's thing about these guests.
The dictator type A personality.
Anybody got time for that? So my most surprising delight is I really enjoy when we have guests on and we're able to talk with them. And I think it's because I'm not used to them. And so it's a new experience, and it's like hearing different things and learn. And I must agree. I think it's an excellent thing, and I look forward to when we have guests, because I just, it's like I'm meeting a new person, and then I'm hearing their perspective on some, area that they have either experience or passion or whatever about. And I think those are together, my next favorite like group, because they're a surprising favorite. Like I never knew that I would appreciate them so. So we do appreciate all our guests who have taken time out to share with us. Not quite knowing. I'm pretty sure y'all didn't quite know what the heck y'all are saying yes to, but you have blessed us with your knowledge, and also blessed the listeners and our, like our listening friends. So we appreciate all the guests that we had on this season.
Yeah, this season we had a lot of guests on.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
I think half of our episodes might have been guests.
Yeah.
And it was like the whole gamut, you know, Dr. K, Pastor D,
Yeah.
Expert D, Roth,
Ghoulie.
Ghoulie,
The
The
doctor
or
not
of
fourth
Jamaican.
trimester, or
Yeah.
excellent accounting friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, monogamish.
Yeah.
Is that it, Dr. Hamill? That was
Yeah.
we really, really, really do appreciate. And then, you know, in season 1 we had Lexi. She's a dream. So hopefully we'll have her again too.
Yep. And our mommies. Does
and
our mommies
they
count?
weren't even live on. Can you imagine if they were live on? And our mommies. We'll do it again. Maybe we'll bring them live. Have a whole situation up in here.
I don't know.
And so
Yeah, it's been a great season.
Yes, lots of gratitude, and lots of gratitude for you, our listeners. You know, we're very grateful for all of you who join us each time, and we welcome you, even though the season is ended. We welcome you to stay in touch. Talk to us. Tell us what you'd like to hear next season. Share your content if you're creating content with us. We'd like to see and interact with you as well. We are affirming a wonderful and safe and energizing summer for us all. And we look forward to seeing you on the interwebs in the meantime. And then we'll see you again in season 3 on the other side. So one love and all the best from your ladies at RPP. Catch you next season.
Bye, y'all. Have a good summer. Enjoy. Go hike and see the world.
Go out there and live your best life.
Live your best life. Corona done, people. You know, say Corona done.
Well, Corona done.
Apparently. Can't go outside. All right.
Outside open for business.
The streets are calling. You see that one?
The streets are calling my name.
Calling my name. The streets are calling the streets.
I'm going to the street.
To the streets.